Hi guys, I'm Forster here with a review of another Costa Rican coffee and a lesson that this coffee taught me, or maybe I should say retaught me. Now the coffee I'm going to be reviewing is this one, Pastora Tarrazu. It was provided by friends Edgar and Marcella. Now Edgar researched the source of the Silva coffee that I reviewed recently, and he thinks this blend right here came from the same co-op of growers. His wife Marcella had a trip recently to Costa Rica and she was able to track down this blend in a local store. So many thanks go to both Edgar and Marcella for making this video possible. All right, I just brewed a fresh pot of the coffee. And first off, I want to show you the bag, a close-up of it. So this is Pastora Tarrazu. I believe that this says it's a medium roast. Not sure, but I think that's what that says. If you speak Spanish or read Spanish, then you have an advantage over me. You can pause this and read it, get more information. And here's the nutritional information. Enough about the bag though, because I want to show you these beans in particular. And I'm going to try to put it in different lights to where you can see the color of those beans. I would call these a light chocolate brown color, and there's no oil on the beans at all. They're very dry. Now they came from the same source as those Silva beans that I reviewed recently, but they're very different. So roasting does make a big difference. And like I say, I would call these a light roast. Now I want to compare them to a couple of other coffees that I have on hand. So let me set this bag aside and bring in Pike Place. And this is Pike Place coffee. This is one that a lot of you are familiar with. And look at the comparison there. Pike Place is a medium roast, very different in color and very different in oil. And like I say, Pike Place is a medium. I would call this a light. Okay, I'll set those back off to the side. And here's the darkest roast that I have on hand. And this is my favorite. This is Pete's Major Dickinson blend. And here's what those look like. And here again, I'll try to put them in different lights, get rid of that bag. And I'll probably end up getting these mixed up, but here's those two. This is the darkest roast I have, Major Dickinson, and this is the lightest roast. Okay, and just for contrast, I'll put Major Dickinson there. So what's the lesson that I relearned? Well, if you follow my channel, you know that I much prefer darker blends of coffee. To me, they just have a much richer flavor. I usually drink 2 or 3 cups of coffee in the morning and then maybe one more during the day, but I have absolutely no reaction at all to caffeine in these coffees that I drink. But I drank 2 cups of this Tarrazu coffee and my hands had the quivers. This light roast, I couldn't believe it. And then I remembered, light roasts have more caffeine in general than darker roast. These darker roasts don't faze me at all, but this light roast turned me into a 90-pound weakling. Now, caffeine has both positive and negative effects. Studies have shown that caffeine can boost memory and improve concentration, both of which I need. It can lower the risk of Alzheimer's and liver cancer. But too much caffeine can increase blood pressure, blood sugar. It can decrease bone density in addition to these shaky hands. Now for most people, the key is to keep caffeine intake below 400 to 600 milligrams per day. So how much coffee is that? Well, the darkest roast that I have, Pete's Major Dickinson blend, has 267 milligrams of caffeine in a 16-ounce drink, which is a pretty good sized drink. A medium roast like Starbucks Pike Place has 310 milligrams of caffeine in a 16-ounce drink. Now, I don't have a Starbucks Blonde Roast, but that's the lightest roast I could find. That has 360 milligrams of caffeine in a 16-ounce drink. And that's 35% more caffeine than Major Dickinson's blend. So in general, the lighter the roast, the greater the caffeine content. There's other factors like the type and source of the coffee beans also affect caffeine content, as well as the method of brewing and serving size. Now, the coffee that I've reviewed with the most caffeine of all was this one right here, Death Wish Coffee, and it had a whopping 728 milligrams of caffeine in a 12-ounce drink. So, how does this Tarrazu taste? Well, it's a very pleasant coffee, has very subtle flavors and aromas. Although it's the same source beans as the Silva coffee that I've reviewed, they taste completely different. The roasting method does make a huge difference, and Silva coffee is a darker roast over wood heat. Now, this Tarrazu coffee is one that I think many of you would enjoy. It's definitely not overpowering in any way, except for overpowering my nerves, of course. Y'all take care.